Hey guys, welcome back. So for today's video, I decided to do a Q&A. I thought it would be fun, and a lot of people have been commenting or messaging me, like asking questions. So I put on my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, message me if you have any questions, and I got some good ones. So yeah, so let's get started. So the first one is, so you just found out you have cancer. What's the first thought you had? Well, when I found out, I was on a lot of pain medication. So I was kind of really out of it, and I really don't remember reacting. I mean, I remember my dad told me, and I just sat there and I was like, wow. Like, I felt almost numb to it. But when I found out that my cancer came back at 20 years old, a week before my 21st birthday, I cried. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? Mainly at the fact that I fought the battle before, and I never once thought that it would come back. So the second time was a lot harder for me than the first, which is ironic because you would think the first time finding out you have cancer would be the scariest, but the fact that it came back was like the scariest for me. So I didn't know how to react. I used to wear extensions with my hair because my hair was growing back, and I remember I just bought a pair of new like blonde extensions, and I threw them away because I was like, I'm not gonna need these. My hair's gonna fall out anyways. So I was very dramatic the second time it came back. I was just like, I'm gonna die. That's my main thought. I just thought I was gonna die. I was very like scared. Okay, the second question. What are you most afraid of? So throughout this, it's the number one thing that I was so scared of was losing my hair. I mean, being a girl, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I think it's funny. But the number one thing I was afraid of was losing my hair, and the second, the most obvious, death. That's the scariest part of this journey. How has this changed your life? Well, ironically, I think this has changed my life for the better. I have become a much more well-rounded person. I have a new appreciation for life. I am more grateful for what I have. So it really has changed me for the better. It's matured me very quickly. When I found out when I was in high school first, I was very immature, and you know, I have no other choice but to get stuff done. So I had a one-way track, and because I found out at the end of my senior year of high school, so I didn't go away to college, so I was home, I was with my family more, and I was focused on the more important things of life, which was living. So I kind of just like geared up, and I went from acting like a 15-year-old to acting like an adult. I mean, even still now, when I was in college, I played around, I was just crazy, and then when I found out it came back, I was like, okay, now it's time to take life seriously again because I have another battle to partake in, I guess. Okay, how has this changed how you handle adversity? Well, I believe this is, what? How has this changed how you handle adversity? I think this, I think this changed the way I handled adversity so growing up, I mean, even till this day, I have always been so scared of death. I mean, mostly being people around me, but also now more of myself. Just the thought of death, the thought of my parents dying, my grandparents dying, my friends, like family, anything. It scares the heck out of me. I mean, it's terrifying. The thought of losing someone forever, I mean, it's permanent. But you know, going through this, that's one of the that happens, I guess. Like, people die from having cancer. It's one of the negative things that happens. So, you know, I don't let it scare me anymore. You know, I know it's there, and I just navigate my way around it. I see that death is a possibility, and I just appreciate life more rather than focus on the fact that who knows? you know. So in a way, I guess to make that make more sense, it's made me a lot stronger. It made me less scared of death. What is your beauty routine during treatment? Wow. Okay. So when I'm not wearing makeup, when I don't have my wig on, and yes, this is a wig if you didn't know, I could definitely say I really do look like a cancer patient. I mean, walking around, like out and about, no one, I mean, when I meet new people, everyone's like if they find out that I have cancer, they're like, what? You don't look like you have cancer. And I'm just like, it's a lot of hard work, okay? This doesn't take 2 seconds like it used to when I was perfectly healthy. I'd throw on mascara, put on some blush or something, and maybe throw my hair in a bun, whatever. But no, this takes time. Doing my makeup, putting my wig on, dealing with wigs, buying wigs, finding wigs. I mean, oh my God. So I guess my beauty routine, I mean, I put on a full face of makeup. I mean, there is no light coverage because light coverage means I'll still look like I'm sick. But yeah, so my makeup, a lot of it, my wig. Yeah, and honestly, I don't mind it because when I do my makeup and put on my hair and stuff, I look in the mirror and I'm just like, wow, I really do feel pretty. So one of the negative things about having cancer is, you know, you lose your hair. Obviously, that's the number one thing I was scared of. And you lose that alive look, that fresh look that everyone has, that most people have, you know. I don't really have that, that natural glow. That glow has been taken from me because I'm very blah and frail and whatever. So when I do my makeup and I look in the mirror and I'm all done up, I mean, I just look at them like, wow, I feel pretty. And that's one of the best feelings. So that's another reason why, I mean, whenever I go out, I always try to do I always try to feel good because I have always said, if you look good, you'll feel good. So if I go out and I'm not wearing any makeup and I'm just bummy, I won't feel good. I won't be my sassy self, I guess. So this takes time. And who knows, maybe in one of my upcoming vlogs, I will show you the process from going to natural to this. I mean, it's a process. So yeah, take off the wig, take off my makeup. I think that'd be fun for you guys, not for me. Okay. What are some of your favorite foods to eat during treatment? I don't really necessarily have any favorite foods that I'm craving or that I crave. It's kind of always just been the same, but I like the next question. It says, are there any foods that you loved before treatment that you couldn't stand during? So whenever I have to go to the hospital and stay overnight, I hate hospital food. I mean, it could be great, I don't know, but the smell of it skeeves me out. The look of it, I'm actually getting nauseous talking about it. It just grosses me out. Again, this has nothing to do with the food quality or anything, but the thought of eating in a place where I'm getting treated, I don't know, it's a whole mentality thing. But, oof. Oh my God, this is a very gross story, but I literally remember being in the hospital and I was walking around the floor just to get moving rather than laying in bed, and I saw the cart with the hospital food and the lunch lady or the lady bringing it out, and I was 10 feet from my hospital room, and I literally threw up in my hand, in my mouth, walking to my room. I couldn't hold it in. I was so nauseous to the fact that I threw up. Keep in mind, I was getting chemo. I wasn't just average, just walking around as if how I'm feeling right now. I mean, I was already nauseous. I was already uneasy. I mean, I literally threw up in my hand. It was gross. So, yeah. So foods like that gross me out. It's so weird because if I eat I was drinking Powerade the last time I was overnight in hospital, and I don't want Powerade anymore. Baked Lays, I used to love Baked Lays, and I ate it in the hospital. Now I can't even look at them. Like, it just instantly brings me back to the hospital. I'm just like, no. There is this one story. So 4 years ago when I was in Jacksonville, I was doing targeted radiation, and I was at dinner with my grandma, my sister, and I, and we were at, I'm not even gonna say the restaurant. We were at this restaurant and we got like fried egg rolls, and back then I was on this chemo where I learned that I couldn't eat fried food or dairy because it would automatically make me throw up. I mean, once I was having an ice cream cone with my mom, and like 10 minutes later I threw it all up. Very gross. So yeah, so we got this fried egg roll or something. It was just fried. And I ate it, like 2 bites or something, and then I told my sister, I was like, I'm not feeling well. So we went, so I was like, Gianna, like, please come with me to the bathroom. Like, I don't know, like, I just need to like breathe for a second. She comes with me to the bathroom, and I threw up like my whole life's worth of food, it felt like, in the sink. I get so, now I'll throw up in the bathroom, but I used to get so skeeved out with throwing up, especially in public bath toilets. I mean, I just think other people have sat there. I don't want my face in that same proximity. So I threw up in the sink. It clearly, it clogged the sink. Very gross. So I felt so bad, but I didn't know what to do. I was sick, and it was the chemo. I mean, it's cancer's fault, not mine. So my sister got like a piece of paper, and she wrote on it for me. She wrote like, I'm so sorry, I'm going through chemo, like I'm not feeling well, like, and like just put it on the mirror or something. Oh my God, that was so bad. So now I could have fried food, it's no big deal. But yeah, so used to be fried foods that I could not stand during treatment. Okay, the next question is, how has this impacted the relationships in your life? Well, that's an interesting question. So with my family, it has brought us together so much as a whole. So again, I thank cancer for that. But I mean, we've always been such a close family, and this is like my aunts, uncles, grandparent, whatever. We've always been a very close family, but this has like bonded us like very close, and I love my family so much, so it's amazing. I mean, I just love it. Yeah, so with those relationships, it brought me together. With friendships, you know, I learned the friends that were really there for me, and like cared for my health and cared for my well-being, versus the friends that I had that wanted to go out with me, you know, that really cared more about going out and partying and drinking, and they didn't care necessarily too much about me as a person. So I dropped those people, and I really kept the friends that cared about me and that asked, how am I doing, and really cared about my well-being, you know. So that is a perk of cancer. I say that a lot, perks of cancer. It's a perk of cancer, you know. You learn who's really there for you. And it sucks because you think someone's your friend, and you just see that, wow, they're not. Like, they could care less about me. But you also see, wow, this person really cares about me. They show up. That's so important, especially within this. They show up. Okay, next question. Do you feel like your life has been put on pause, especially when you see your friends doing X, Y, and Z? Yes, I have extreme FOMO. And if you don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. When I first was going to school, then I had to move back like very quick to start treatment, which was over a year ago. I saw all my friends going out to the bars and like drinking and just having so much fun, and I was so jealous. I mean, I was so happy that like they were having fun, but I was so upset that I couldn't be there, that I couldn't be out with them. I couldn't be like drinking with them or just socializing and just having fun. Even going to school. I mean, I was so upset that I just couldn't like live a normal life, or even still now, live a normal life and go to school and just do normal things. I mean, it's very upsetting. Just like, it's upsetting, especially like having to move back to Fort Lauderdale when most of my friends were in Fort Myers. So it's just like, what am I gonna do now? So, I mean, it is what it is, you know. I take it with a grain of salt, and I'm just like, okay, so I'll just, whatever, make my own fun. How do you begin to share your story? Was it easy to do? What did you start with? How did you tell others? Oh, wow. How did I tell people the first time? Oh, I remember. So the first time, which was when I was 17, that I was diagnosed, like I said, I missed my prom, and I remember I first so I love social media. Social media is where I like to address things, I guess, in a way. So the way I addressed the situation the first time was, I remember after my treatment and everything, I went to the cancer prom that I mentioned, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my last video. I remember I posted a picture of me, and I look so pretty in my prom dress, and I hashtagged beat cancer. So then after that, a lot of people commented, and people messaged me, and they were like, what, that's crazy. This time around, I remember I posted an old picture of when I was getting chemo 4 years ago. I posted it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter probably. And I just posted that my cancer has come back, I'm moving to Fort Lauderdale, and I'm gonna fight like heck. So yeah, so a bunch of people commented again, a lot of people reached out to me, a lot of support. So that's how I told others, and then of course I told my friends before I would, my close friends, before I would post. Was it easy to do? I mean, it's not even that it's easy to do, is it easy for me to handle? That's the way I look at it more. I mean, it's not that hard to say, hey, I have cancer. I mean, actually it is kind of hard because it gets kind of awkward more of, but wasn't necessarily hard to do. How do you begin to share your story? So I mentioned that I spoke at the American Icon Award before Joe DiMaggio, before Magic Johnson. So I shared my story then. I spoke at the Tour de Broward that Joe DiMaggio had, told my story there. Here I am sharing my story now. So this is ways that I like to share my story. Yeah, and then next question. What does dating look like? How do you date someone while going through / after treatments? Well, I am still going through treatment, so I will address that. So 4 years ago, I didn't date. I stayed strictly focused. I mean, my number one priority, even still now, my number one priority was beating this. I mean, I didn't have time the first time, and I didn't care to start a relationship. This time around, I was in a relationship for 6 months, and it was fine, but I realized at the end of the day, I'm here fighting for my life, it's my number one obligation, so I didn't have too much time for it. So now, even now, I'm still so focused on my life. Yeah, I've been on dates, but I really don't have time for that. Especially I'm traveling a lot, back and forth on the coast to coast. I'm traveling, and again, my number one priority is myself, and I love myself, but I'm still learning to love myself and accept what I have. So, on top of that, and I don't want to put all of what I have onto someone. I have too much going on, and I don't want it's almost a burden in a way, which I could understand, and I'm not like upset to say that. It's life. So yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine. Yeah, but I mean, when I was dating, like, it was fine. After treatment, so I guess the first time like when I stopped, it was kind of like annoying when I was 17, because like everyone looked at me as like the cancer girl. Also, the first time I had a wig, but I like never really wore my wig. I like embraced the bald, and I embraced like the short hair and everything. And a lot of I feel like a lot of guys just like felt bad for me. A lot of guys, again, like looked at me as like, oh, like the girl with cancer, rather than Gabriella Masiello, who I am. So I thought that was like, that's another reason why I like to like put this on and do all this, because I don't like to be looked at as the cancer girl. I like to continue to be looked at as Gabriella Masiello, because that's who I am, you know. I don't like to be defined as my disease. It's terrible. So that did make dating hard back then, in 2014. But no, and then I like dated, and I put myself out there, and it was fine. But no, I mean, especially after this and like getting hit with, you might die going through cancer and having cancer, you really appreciate life, and you really want to surround yourself with good people, and you don't want to be around negative people or people that'll like drain your spirit and just drain the positivity. So yeah, okay. What do you do about school or work? So I don't work. When I was diagnosed like a year and a half ago, and I moved back home, I wasn't obviously I wasn't going to school. I was going to school at Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers. But when I moved back home, that's 2 hours away, obviously I couldn't go back and forth. So I decided to get a job. I applied at Hooters, and I got the job there. It was honestly so fun and so cool. I loved it. Met a lot of like nice girls. It was my first time being a waitress. I loved it. I thought it was so fun. I may not have been the best waitress, because I only worked there for a month, and I didn't have enough training. And every time that I was working, I felt so fatigued from the chemo, and I was tired, and I was on my feet all day, and they were long shifts. So I ended up, I didn't even tell my manager. So that's my dog, Coco Chanel. Awkward. Coco Chanel. Come here. Let me show you Coco Chanel. This is her. Ow. Okay. That's so awkward. So I worked there for about a month, and then I didn't even tell my managers at first when I applied that I was sick, just because, again, didn't want people to judge me for my disease. I wanted them to appreciate me for being who I am. Then I wound up telling them, and they were so sorry, and they said please come back when you're done with treatment and you're feeling good, we'd love to have you. So they were so kind. But with school's been very hard. So when I first moved back, my doctor was okay, Gabriella, you gotta stay here. This is your number one. You gotta focus on treatment. And I was annoying, but okay. So I did, and then so that was the fall and the spring, and I was doing this certain chemo, and I felt great during it. I would go to Fort Myers every week, and it was I could have literally lived there and just gone back here to do my chemo and just go back to school because I felt so fine. And then that chemo stopped working, so then I did another one. And then then the other one started working, so my doctor was like, okay, Gab, like, you could go ahead and go to Fort Myers, go ahead, sign a lease, like, you're fine. Not that my cancer went away, but like I was handling the treatment well and it was working. So I signed my lease, and then, like a few weeks later, like after I moved in, the chemo stopped working, so I had to do a new one. That stopped working, so then I had to move back home. So I just signed this lease, this 1-year lease, and I'm not feeling good. I'm never at my house in Fort Myers. I missed like 3 months or 2 months of school. So that was so upsetting. It was so upsetting because I took like 3 classes this past fall, and I literally barely passed one, and I only passed it because this professor was like so kind, and I like really worked my way. It was a very important class, so I took it very seriously. I went to his office hours, I made up my tests, I made up my quizzes, I made up the homework, so I barely passed that class. So yeah, school has been very difficult. So the next question, is it possible to go to school or work going through treatments? I just explained it. For me, it's very hard, especially depending on what kind of chemo I'm doing. I still have my house in Fort Myers. I have it until the end of July. So I'm really just playing everything by ear. The spring semester is coming up, and people are literally starting classes in a couple of days. I was registered for classes, but I'm still heavily debating. I'll probably talk to my guidance counselor when I go back to Fort Myers. But I don't think I'll be taking classes in the spring. I think I'll just be using my house in Fort Myers as a little getaway. I love being there. My friends are still there. It's almost like a vacation home for me, and it's whenever I'm there, it's kind of like I'm away from all of this chaos here in Fort Lauderdale with hospitals and doctors and everything. So yeah, so who knows? And then 14, the last question is, what are your goals? So my goals, that is very difficult, but I want to say I did make a 2019 vision board, and I don't know what it's called, a vision board or like a goal board. So I have like a few goals. It's like in the corner over there. I have a few goals that I'll just share with you. I aspire in 2019 to be cancer free. Fingers crossed, let's see if that happens. I really, this is just for this upcoming year. This isn't future goals because that's too far for me to look into. I really want to start crafting more. I absolutely love crafting. I want to, I really want to volunteer at cancer hospitals more, or the cancer floor more. I've always said I want to do it, and then I'll just like put it away, like I just won't do it. And now 2019, why not? It's a time for me to do it. It's time for me to continue to chase my dreams and just do it. My quote that I made up for 2019 is, don't just say it, do it. Because I feel like 2019 was the year for me conspiring, thinking of all these ideas and just, I want to do this, I want to do that, but just never accomplishing them. So 2019, we're saying what we want to do and we're chasing those dreams. I want to start eating healthy. I eat like a 5-year-old. I know diet is very important, especially when I'm sick. But I love chicken nuggets and McDonald's and all that, so it's not good. I want to vlog more. 2019 is the year I will be getting a Jeep. I'm saying it here first. I want to smile more. I want to be happy. I want to give more, inspire others, see the sunset more. Yeah. Do yoga possibly. Those are just a few things. Well, all right. Thank you so much for watching. That was my question and answers video. If you have more questions, you could send it to me. Maybe I'll do another Q&A in the future, Q&A video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, so I'll see you next time.